5 makeup mistakes can put 10 years on a face, and you probably made 2 of them before leaving the house this morning. Mistake number 4 is a powder habit Korean artists dropped 20 years ago while American counters kept selling it to you. Mistake number 2 is the reason your face looks better at 8 in the morning than it does at noon. And mistake number 1, I've quietly fixed on Korean actresses minutes before cameras rolled. But good news first. 10 products Korean makeup artists actually use on mature skin ranked. The one at the top adapts to your exact skin tone on contact, and we're counting down, so it comes last. Number 10, a hydrating essence, layered thin. In Korea, we have something called the 7 skin method, where skin means toner, and you pat watery layers into the face one after another until it drinks its fill. You don't need 7. After 50, 3 thin layers pressed in with your palms will do more for your makeup than any expensive serum sitting unopened in your bathroom drawer. Mature skin runs dry in a way young skin simply doesn't, and dry skin is what makes every product on top of it look patchy and tired. Korean women call the goal choke chalk. It means bouncy, dewy, plump with water. When the skin is chalk, foundation glides. When it's parched, foundation grabs. Everything else on this list works better because of this one step, which is exactly why it comes first. Number 9. A lightweight facial oil, 3 drops, rolled between your palms until it's warm, then pressed into the cheeks before anything else touches your face. Not rubbed, pressed. Then you wait 2 full minutes, and the waiting is the part everyone skips. Go pick out your lipstick, brush your teeth, whatever keeps your hands busy. Dry skin grips whatever lands on it, clutching foundation into patches around the nose, while little flakes stand up along the cheeks like tiny flags. The oil settles all of that down. In my kit in Seoul, there's always a small glass bottle of camellia oil. The same oil Korean women have smoothed into their skin and hair for centuries. Skip the 2 minutes and everything balls up under your fingertips. Give it the 2 minutes and the base sinks in like it was always part of you. Number 8. A damp cosmetic sponge, and damp means squeezed out twice, the way a towel feels after you've wrung it properly. Nearly every woman over 50 owns one and uses it wrong. She swipes it back and forth across her cheek like she's polishing a table, and that swiping motion is what drives foundation into the little lines around the mouth and leaves uneven streaks along the jawline. The professional motion is a bounce. Small, patient, pressing taps that push the product down into the skin so it becomes part of the surface. It adds maybe 90 seconds to your morning, and the reward is a finish that reads as healthy skin instead of a layer of makeup. In Korean, we'd say the makeup becomes one with the skin. That's the whole goal after 50. Number 7. A cream blush in a soft coral or a muted rose in a pot or a stick, and never a powder. Powder blush perches on top of the texture, snags on every fine line across the cheekbone, and turns dusty and flat before lunch. A cream melts in and gives you that warmed from within flush that reads as youth from across a room. Placement matters even more than formula, and it's the part women resist. Gravity has spent decades quietly redecorating the face, so the color that lived on the apples of your cheeks at 30 now needs to climb, up along the top of the cheekbone and back toward the temple. I set it high and sweep it toward the hairline with my fingers. That single adjustment lifts the entire face, and it costs you nothing but a new habit. Number 6, a cream bronzer stick used to bring warmth back into a face rather than to carve shadows into it. Those are 2 completely different jobs. A dark stripe dug beneath the cheekbone hollows a mature face out and leaves it looking drained, especially once you step into daylight. What I do instead is sweep a warm cream bronzer over the places where sunlight would naturally land on you. The top of the forehead, the temples, along the cheekbones, down the bridge of the nose. It brings the life back into skin that's gone flat and gray. On a client in her 50s, I always warm the face before I blush it, and together those 2 steps are what make people ask if she just flew home from Jeju Island. One more rule while we're here. Cream layered over cream moves as one piece all day. Dust powder over cream and the layers split apart by lunchtime every single time. Number 5, a brow pencil in soft taupe, 1 shade lighter than you think you need. Brows thin after 50. It's hormones and it's 40 years of tweezing, and it is quietly the most aging thing on the face. The usual fix makes everything worse. She grabs a dark pencil, presses hard, and suddenly two harsh brackets sit stamped above her eyes, pulling her whole expression toward the floor. In the dressing room, I use a fine pencil to sketch individual hairs, tiny strokes that flick upward, following the direction the hair actually grows, letting the tail float just a touch higher than nature left it. Then a clear brow gel to hold everything in place. No eye cream on your shelf can do for a tired face what a gently lifted brow does in 30 seconds, and I will stand by that until I retire. Number 4, a peach or apricot color corrector for under the eyes and only a whisper of it. Not a concealer, a corrector. This is color wheel logic, the first lesson taught in any makeup academy. The shadows under mature eyes lean blue and violet because the skin there has grown thin enough to show the vessels beneath it. Stack a pale concealer directly over blue and the mix turns gray. Ashy, flat, and visible from the far side of a restaurant. Peach sits opposite blue on the color wheel, so it neutralizes the darkness at the source. I tap a tiny amount into the inner corner and along the deepest part of the shadow, give it a moment to settle, then float the sheerest layer of whatever comes next over the top. Every single client who watches this step happen in the mirror asks me what's in that little peach pot. Number 3. A tinted lip balm or a lip oil instead of anything matte. Lips lose volume and lose their border as we age, and a matte liquid lipstick will find every little line around your mouth and feather straight into it by mid-morning. In Korea, we love a blurred lip, color concentrated toward the center, softened at the edges with a fingertip, so the lips look full and a little juicy without a hard outline announcing itself. A tinted balm gives you that in one step. Press the color into the center of the lips, tap it outward, done. It reads soft, it reads younger, and when it fades gracefully instead of leaving a ring around your mouth like a coffee stain. Number 2. A hydrating setting mist, which in a Korean kit does the job you've been asking powder to do. A fine mist over finished makeup does two things. It locks everything in place, and it melts all your layers together so the cream blush, the corrector, and the base stop looking like separate products and start looking like skin. Powder flattens light. Mist keeps it. Hold the bottle at arm's length, mist in an X and then a T across the face, and let it dry untouched. That dewy, lit from within finish Korean women are famous for, the glass skin everyone keeps chasing, this is half of the secret. The other half is what we're about to talk about because it sits underneath everything. By the way, if this list is helping, hit subscribe. I share what 30 years in dressing rooms actually taught me every week. And number 1, there is one foundation actually built for mature skin. It blurs fine lines instead of collecting in them, softens texture, and reads as real skin, never as a layer of product resting on top. It is called Luxe. It goes on as a pale, neutral cream, and the color-changing pigments shift against your own chemistry until they land on your exact undertone. No guessing at shades under harsh store lighting, no jawline that gives the whole game away where your face stops matching your neck. And because the formula is nearly impossible to oxidize, nothing turns orange on you halfway through the afternoon. Hundreds of women who had already given up on foundation entirely swear by it now. When a client sits in my chair and asks to look like herself after a proper night of sleep, this is the bottle I reach for. I layer it over the oil from number 9, work it in with the damp sponge from number 8, and a pea-sized amount handles the whole face. It's not in stores yet, but it's the best-selling foundation on Amazon right now, so the link is in the description below, or scan the QR code on your screen. If it's gone, and you can imagine the results looking something like this. Results may vary, of course. Now the 5 mistakes, counting down. Mistake number 5, frost on the eyelids, glitter in the gloss, a metallic streak of highlighter down the cheek. I understand the temptation since sparkle promises radiance, but every shimmer particle works like a tiny mirror, and tiny mirrors spotlight whatever texture lives underneath them. On a softer lid, frost crawls into each fold and sets up camp there. Choose satin instead. Satin catches the light gently without broadcasting a single crease. Keep the eyelid matte, give the cheek a soft satin sheen, keep the lip creamy, and if highlighter must come along, 1 fingertip's worth on the highest point of the cheekbone is plenty. Mistake number 4, the full face powder habit, the one from the hook. The big translucent tub you've been refilling since the 90s. Loose powder erases the natural glow that healthy skin gives off, then works its way into every fold the way flour finds the seams of a countertop. Korean artists walked away from this 2 decades ago and never once looked back. If your skin runs oily, dust only where the shine actually shows up. The middle of the forehead, either side of the nose, a whisper on the chin, and never anywhere near the cheeks. And that washed out white face staring back from your friend's wedding photos comes from camera flash bouncing off those very same powder particles. Mistake number 3. Testing foundation on the back of your hand and still wearing the shade someone matched you to a decade ago. Your hand has spent 30 years in the sun, doing dishes and gripping steering wheels, and it hasn't matched your face since your 20s. Swipe the shade along your jawline, walk to a window, and judge it in honest daylight. And remember that skin slowly loses pigment over the years, which means the warm beige that suited you perfectly a decade ago probably runs a shade too deep and too golden for the face you have today. A color-changing formula removes that entire guessing game, which is exactly why one sits at the top of my list. If you're staying traditional, at least get rematched in daylight, on the jaw. Mistake number 2, the one from the hook. The reason your face looks better at 8 in the morning than it does at noon. You're painting over parched skin and then blaming the paint. When a base turns cakey by midday, no matter which brand you buy, the skin underneath was thirsty before the first drop ever went on. Dehydrated skin pulls the moisture straight out of the formula, leaving dry pigment sitting on the surface with nowhere comfortable to settle. So feed the skin first. Essence, then patience. Oil, then more patience. In my studio, a face gets a full 10 minutes to absorb everything before foundation comes anywhere near it, and I promise you that pause does more work than any single product in my kit. And mistake number 1, the one I've quietly corrected on actresses in a dressing room minutes before cameras rolled. Piling pale concealer under the eyes and locking it down with powder. The logic feels sound. The darkness bothers you, so you add another layer and then another. But under a mature eye, all that product sinks into the delicate skin and cracks within the hour, and that glowing pale triangle trend from a few years back is merciless on a face over 50. Instead of hiding the shadow, it hangs a spotlight directly over it. Go the other way. Start with the peach corrector from number 4 on my list, then the thinnest veil of concealer, no more than 1 shade brighter than your base, warmed on the ring finger and tapped in gently. Cut your usual amount in half and watch the result double. After 30 years of faces in my chair, from Seoul dressing rooms to early wedding mornings, I have never once solved a problem by adding more product. The answer was always hydration underneath, restraint on top, and a foundation chosen for the skin she has today instead of the skin in her old photographs. That base layer decides everything above it. When it shifts color through the day or gathers in your lines, no blush or corrector on top can rescue the picture. The Luxe link is waiting in the description, and the QR code is on your screen if that's quicker. Then give yourself 1 small week of homework. Blush higher, peach under the eyes, mist instead of powder. On day 7, stand by a window, take 1 honest photo, and really look at it. I think you'll be surprised. I'll see you in the next one.